So, hello everyone. Thank you, Krishna. and I am Ayushi. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I'm Ayushi, and I'm presently working as an associate consultant in Wipro in cybersecurity division. So, yeah, so the two people I'll be introducing to you, the two amazing alumni we are having on the call, are Sailusha and Rakesh. They both will be talking about the finance sector, management sector in India, the totally a non-biotech field. So the people who lose interest in biotech and do something, uh, you know, outside of biotech, will love to hear them. So yeah, so let's hand it over to Sailusha. Can you please say hi to everyone? And yeah, Sailusha.
Hey, hi everyone. Am I
Yeah, hi.
audible?
Yes, yes, you're perfectly audible, Sailusha. So the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Hello everyone. So I'm Sailusha here. I'm from 2015 batch from biotechnology department. Uh, so after graduating from NIT Warangal, I have worked as business analyst at Novartis Healthcare. That is when I decided I have to go into management field because before that I was mostly inclined to research. I always wanted to do PhD and then end up somewhere in the academic field. But after joining Novartis, my perspective has changed. So I thought that I fit well in management sector because I found some interest in solving the cases, and I've seen what are the different opportunities that open up. One reason why I wanted to pursue MBA instead of academic field is I wanted to stay in India, and what I've seen was mostly if I have to enter into biotechnology field again, I'll have to go abroad. So that is one of the pressing concerns for me at that time. So after joining Novartis is when I started preparing for CAT, and then I have given CAT for about 2 times. First 2 times I was not able to clear it, and third time is when I have cleared it. Because of my expertise in pharma sector, which is like a rare combination, I was getting a few consult shortlists, which most people uh, aim to get into. But after attending a few of the mock interviews, I felt again it's not right for me. Then I thought somewhere like a product management or a project or program management will be better for me. So that is when I started preparing seriously for some e-commerce companies because I felt that they hold a lot of opportunities after MBA. So I gave Amazon interview and I joined as category manager. I worked for about 10 months as category manager, which is also like a strategy building and then executing the strategies to hold the profit and loss together. Then I slowly shifted to program management, which is what I always wanted to land up in while I was doing MBA. So if at all you guys are having some ambitions right now, like you can look at my career path. I always wanted to get into academic field, and finally I ended up becoming a program manager for an e-commerce company. So yeah, at different stages in life, I feel we have different aspirations based on what all conditions we are in. Yeah, that's it from my side. In case you have any questions for me, you can shoot.
Yeah, like let's have a like question and answer session at the end. First, let's hear about journey of Rakesh. Yeah. So any questions you can pop them up in the chat section. We can have it like at the end. And any other addition you want to do, Salusha, like right now, question and answers we'll have it at the end also.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. So let's have Rakesh next, who has done graduation. He's an MBA graduate from XLRI Jamshedpur and from batch of 2013 of an ITW. So let's hear about your journey, Rakesh. Hello, can you hear me? Can you
Hello,
hear? Hello.
hello everyone.
Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, very clear.
Yeah. So I would start my journey maybe just before I joined NITW. That was way back in 2009. Uh, I always wanted to do an MBA even before joining, doing BTech. So BTech was just a mandatory thing for me to just do an MBA. So at that time, choosing biotechnology, I mean, when I got an opportunity to do biotechnology at NITW, I didn't think much because I was more bothered about the brand or the tag that NITW brings me. I didn't think whether it's biotechnology, chemical, or anything else. So then joined biotech there. During the journey, I loved the course and the academic rigor that we had and everything. But I always was stuck on doing an MBA and then running a business after that. So even during placements, I was more inclined towards non-biotech companies. I got into Mu Sigma as a decision scientist. I mean, a lot of you might be wondering, what does that mean? Maybe I'll just take a minute to explain that. So Mu Sigma is into data-driven problem solving. So we work with the Fortune 500 companies and help them solve their business problems using data. So that typically involves three aspects, right? Math, business, and technology, because there's a large amount of data. So you need to analyze that data using stats and then there are tools, because that's given the amount of volume of data. And then obviously you need to give some recommendations and help implement them. So there is business aspect to it. So a decision scientist is somebody who does all the three. So I worked about 3 years in Mu Sigma across various projects. I mean, I helped a cruise liner build their deployment strategy. I mean, that's the world's largest cruise liner, Carnival Cruises, if you have heard. So created a deployment strategy for their ships. I've helped Coles kind of come up with what should be the hourly pay wages that they pay to their part-time and full-time employees across their 1,400 plus stores across US. Then worked with a pharma company in identifying who should be the target physicians for their new launch drugs. Another maybe a cardiovascular company in understanding the sales of theirs and their competitors across the globe. So worked on wide variety of projects, but it was always a back-end analytics team. I mean, what it was. So the interaction with the client was always through phones or VC Setmax. So that was my work at Mu Sigma. I mean, I started writing CAT and other competitive exams for MBA right from my 4th year. Always was, so close yet so far types, always was hitting that 99.23, but was never able to get into the leagues of the. So I was very clear, if I have to do an MBA, I'll do it only from top 5 colleges. I'm not going below that. So it took me about 3 years to get into XLRI. There I was, when I joined the business management course there. During XLRI, I was leading the operations committee there. For internship, I interned with TAS, Tata Administrative Services. Not sure most of you might have heard it, but it's the most coveted internship position in the B school circles, because Tata Group hires for their leadership positions. So they groom their CXOs using that particular program. So then there my project was kind of launching an FMCG distribution channel in Tanzania, in Africa. So I did a field work in Tanzania and Kenya for about 2.5 months for my internship there. And then I joined BCG, the Boston Consulting Group, as a consultant. So there, again, I would say BCG is more of an extension of what I did in Mu Sigma. Here, I do front-end consulting. It's a management or strategic consultant, if I have to put it this way. So I work out of client locations, helping, again, clients solve their business problems. What kind of problems these can be. It's been a 3-year journey at BCG so far for me. I've worked on 6 different projects. So I've helped the state government create their industrial policy. That's Andhra Pradesh. So then I have worked with an Indian automobile player to simplify their new product development cycle. 5-year car making process, we got it to 3.5 years. Then I worked with an Indian IT company to reduce their cost. Then I worked with, I'm currently working with a, Indian pharma major to optimize their go-to-market strategy, redesign their sales force structure in India. Then I've worked for a merger of 2 large electrical companies in India. So these were few of my projects. So the reason I'm telling you this is basically the kind of field consulting is right. It throws you a different challenge every other day, right? Most of our projects are 3 to 6 months, and every project is a new project by itself, right? To you might wonder, like, what kind of expertise or uh, knowledge we will have to solve these problems. Like when I joined an automobile player to optimize their new product development cycle, I didn't know how the car making process works, right? So but I mean, the way consulting works is, you utilize the ecosystem that's around you, right? That's the learning I want to give also, right? Most of the times it's not just what we know, right? There is a large ecosystem around you, and this particular conference is a prime example of that, right? Tapping into the what other people around you knows, and then leveraging that learnings and applying it to your field is the most important in today's world. And that's what we do in consulting. Then, I mean, yeah, pretty much that's about me, my journey so far. I mean, any questions, happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Rakesh. That was like a very, very detailed journey you explained, and it's wonderful to hear like your experience. And yes, like guys, you can pop up the questions in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and pop up questions to him directly, or Silusha too. Any questions for Silusha? You can just unmute yourself and ask the questions. So yeah, we have a question from Ashwin Bhaiya.
Okay, maybe I
Ask
can
him
unmute
directly.
myself actually. So I was actually wondering, I mean, I went through the profile of Salusha ma'am. I hope it's okay if I call you ma'am. The point is that I was actually wondering what exactly is how would you describe a day for a program manager at Amazon? I mean, I actually don't understand what the profile would be. I mean, data scientist, I can understand like a score, but what exactly is a program manager?
Yeah. So program management is similar to project management. Basically, you will have to interact with different stakeholders, say a product manager or a marketing manager. Program manager is the one who brings everything in place, all the business requirements, all the technical expertise, or any other external help or resources that a project would require to streamline the whole process. For example, there's a certain manual process where Amazon would like to audit on a monthly basis, and there's no process in place. Everybody has been following Excel based process. So here a program manager has to talk to product managers and understand what kind of product enhancements are required to make this process an automated and a streamlined one. Also, we will have to maintain a schedule as to when a particular input is required or when a process is done and when output is given, and this output will be consumed probably by some other team which will again process it further. So program management is mostly around stakeholder management to bring all the bits and pieces of different aspects of a process. Is it too high-fi? I'm not sure if I simplified it enough.
I actually understand. I hope the others also understand. I do understand. Thanks a lot for that. Maybe I can also ask one question to Rakesh. So I really like the part where you said that you face challenges every 3 or 4 months in a totally different field. I was wondering, has biotech or the studies in the biotech has ever helped you? Because I mean, if automobile, if you could learn how does the automobile work? So has the biotech knowledge ever helped you in your job yet?
I would say maybe at this point of time, especially because I'm working with a pharma company. I just started a new project with a pharma company. So now at least I can understand certain terminologies. It's not that I need to understand the basic terminology of the field. So biotechnology is coming to use right now.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I guess we have a question in chat box from Vatsal that I guess Ailusha has already answered that what your average day looks like. So maybe Rakesh can give some details about that too.
Uh, Average day for me, I mean, consulting is a tough field. Let's be honest and open about it, right? So my typical day on a very good day would last about 12 to 14 hours, and a bad day would somewhere be between 16 to 20 hours. Okay. And the primary reason being, consulting. So at the end of the day, we are service providers, right? So we work for clients, and consulting is a very expensive service. And the moment the Indian client or any client for that matter shells out few crores per month, they expect the ROI in the same way, right? So as given that you have to solve such huge problems in a span of few weeks or say 3 months, you need to stretch. So, and most of the times, I would say 80% of the time would be doing work, and other 40%, other 20-30% of the time would be learning work. Learning the terminologies, understanding the client data, understanding the client business. So I need to push that extra mile to understand and get comfortable as soon as possible. So that would be a typical day for me at work. And the moment.
Any additions, Sailusha? Yeah. Sorry.
No. I was saying by the time you get comfortable with the work, you are into some other project. So.
Okay. Any additions? Like you wanna add something to it, Sailusha?
Yeah, so typically, like currently I'm in a people manager role. So first I'll have to understand what my team is occupied for the day, and I'll have to work with them and see if they are facing any blockers. And then I'll have to work with different stakeholders and make things easier for them. That's the main task for me. And then so most of the times things are not as easy as they sound. Like when I require technical expertise, it's not just given on time. So we'll have to follow up with people and escalating at the right time and to the right person. So these things consume a lot of my time on a day. So previously when I was working as a category manager, I used to work for around 14 to 15 hours a day. But now as a program manager, my scope is limited. So I work for about 10 to 12 hours a day on an average, unless it's a peak season like December sales and all.
Okay, thank you so much, both of you. Next, we have a raised hand by Jhalak. So yeah, please unmute yourself and go ahead.
Thank you. So just had a question from both of you. If you could, suggest how you manage your time for preparing for CAT or GMAT or other competitive exams while also doing your full-time job.
Rakesh, we can't hear you, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So when I was prepping for my MBA, my typical work used to start at 9:30, but I used to be in office by 7:30. So 7:30 to 9:30 was my prep time for CAT. I mean, there's no compromise on that. No reasons or anything. So even if my work goes late on that night, 7:30 dot, I need to be in office and then prep for. And this I did from say Feb to November. I mean, that's when typically the CAT happens, right? So maybe occasional days as a cheat days, but that used to be my routine. So that ensured that at least I'm not away from prep, right? Work didn't keep me away from prep.
I hope that answered your question, Jhalak. And
Yep,
we
thank
have
you.
so many hands popping up. Next, we have a raised hand by Mani. So please unmute yourself and you can go ahead.
Hey Salusha and hey Rakesh, nice to see you all both here. I have a very simple question. It's out of my curiosity. I mean, since I graduated in 2013, I've seen a lot of my friends, whether in biotech or outside biotech, move to the finance field and management field, whether it could be right out of graduation, or they worked in the core field for a few years and then they transitioned out. Especially, I mean, I've known Rakesh for more than a decade now. I knew from day one he was very clear. He's just going into MBA. I mean, he was just doing biotech. I know, like for a good reason. But retrospectively speaking, would you have done anything different? There probably are students currently who know for sure, probably in the same track as Rakesh, that they want to go into the management field. They're probably in their first year and second year. What advice do you have for them? And retrospectively, if you're going back and doing the whole program, what differently would you have done? Like, is doing a bachelor's in biotech even, the right option, or would you recommend do a bachelor's in, like business administration or something?
Okay. So in India, I think we are still not very evolved in business administration at the bachelor's level. All right. If you see any MBA college, even the top 5 colleges, including ABC, Excel, and Lucknow, typically 90 to 95% would be engineering grads. And then, that's the way society is. That's the way we are. Right. Retrospectively, I would have still done the same given how the society in India is, right? And, even colleges acknowledge that. They talk about diversity in, not just gender, but also in education. But that doesn't reflect in numbers, to be honest. So I still feel engineering is still a good bet to get into MBA if you ever want to do one. And then the field that you choose in MBA doesn't matter.
I was saying, how much do extracurriculars that we do in college matter? How have extracurriculars helped you in what you are doing right now?
So I can take up that question if it's okay. So I feel that extracurriculars play a very important role. First, in getting through top IIMs, and then again for placements, especially if you're aiming something like consult or a product manager role. For me, I was able to get into IIM Bangalore with 98.32 percentile. I feel first is because of diversity. That is the branch biotechnology, and then it's because of my extracurriculars. So I have taken part in most of the events that happened at NIT Warangal. Besides the memories that I have gained, I think the extracurricular activities helped me get a very enriched profile first to get into IIM Bangalore. And then after that also I have done a degree in Kuchipudi dance. So I feel that both of them have given me exclusivity in terms of building the profile. So I feel extracurriculars play an important role. Otherwise, you can always play with the CAT score. Like for colleges like IIM Calcutta and all, score and all matter.
Anything to add up from your side, Rakesh? You are on mute again.
Okay. So nothing much to add. I guess Alisha covered most of it. It helps. Obviously, it do help.
Okay. So we have so many questions popping up. So I'll start up with, there is a question from Ankit, that is MBA a must for holding a management job? Do we need to go ahead with MBA only, or there are other options to, go for a management job?
I mean, if I have to split management job as two things, right? One is running the business and the other one is management consultant, right? MBA, I would say it's not a must, but it obviously fast tracks your journey there, right? Be it, getting into a management position in any other company or a management consultant role. It would be a shortcut, I would say, to get there, or else your waiting time to get there would be much higher.
Sailusha, anything to add here?
Yeah, what Rakesh said is right. MBA is like a shortcut for getting into the management role.
Okay. So we have next question from Rohit. You want to unmute yourself and ask the question directly, or shall I read it from the chat? It'll be great if you
I can ask that. So my question is for, first of all, hi to both of you, Rakesh and Sailusha. My question was, so in the US, it is common for the big four in consulting like McKinsey, BCG to recruit PhDs as well for consultant positions. So I was wondering how common of a practice is that in India?
It's actually rare in India. Say BCG, McKinsey, or Bain. There are very few roles. I mean, if I have to split consulting into two things, there is a generalist track, which is the core consulting track, and then there are expertise track, where you like kind of recruit topic experts to leverage their expertise in a certain projects. So their role would be only limited to that. So for that roles, I mean, few occasions, there are people who are recruited A few PhDs are recruited there, but it's not very common in India to recruit PhDs.
Okay, that was a specific question to Rakesh. Thanks a lot for answering. So I have a question from my side. Like COVID situations we have seen, like in any way, like COVID has affected your work, both of you, like Sailusha and Rakesh. Question is to both of you, and how like it affected, and did you like get a chance, like anytime you thought that this was the best decision to make?
Okay. So I would say, I mean, I actually benefited from COVID, to be very honest. Pre-COVID, when I just got married last year, so my typical work life is like I fly out Monday morning and come back Friday evening because my projects would be based out of India and I keep traveling. So, we never got to spend time together. It's only on the weekends, and most of the weekends I have some work or the other. Like most of the times I have weekend work. So COVID actually, thanks to COVID, I got to work from home for first couple of months, I guess, and then I started traveling again from May. So it was those brief 3 months that COVID has actually helped, and now I would say that I'm minimizing most of my travel again, owing to COVID, doing cases out of Hyderabad, ensuring I'm near home. Apart from that, no major, no other impact or no adverse impact, if I have to put it.
Anything from your side, like Sailusha, like anything it affected your, work life or life balance?
Yeah. So I was telling you guys, right? I decided that I'm not going to consult. So Rakesh just told you why I didn't want to get into consulting, because it involves a lot of traveling and the work hours. You must have understood how it's like. So COVID has helped me one thing in catching up with all my extracurriculars. So before getting into IIM Bangalore, I was spending all my free time in preparing for CAT. So I was not able to catch up with fitness and other extracurricular activities. But because of COVID, I was able to cut down on the travel time and I was able to catch up with all those things. But one thing I'm missing is getting to work with my colleagues. Like I miss working with them. There's a lot of discussion that happens over tea and it leads to a lot of innovation. I think that sensitive thing is missing due to COVID. Otherwise, personally, I feel it's comfortable for me due to COVID.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have a last question from Jhala, and so I'll just read it out. While applying, how important is it to know the domain in which an individual wants to pursue an MBA, or what the individual wants to do post MBA?
Not very important, I would say. I mean, it's one of those mandatory questions that people ask during the interviews, the MBA interviews, but not much weight is given to those questions, to be very honest. And 90% of the folks realize what they want to do, be it the domain or post MBA decisions, only during the course. Most of the people I know decide what the core domain they want to choose only a month before the end of first year. Right? That's when you typically choose what you want to do, specialize in second year. First year anyways is common for everybody. So not very important. If you have something in mind, good, but it's not a necessary condition.
Okay. So, like, any tips you want to give to everyone, like, post, prerequisites for CAT, XAT, and other exams, and you can give a brief about like what all exams we can apply for MBA and pursuing MBA. Like, any tips you want to add up to the session?
I think in biotechnology, one thing we lack is that touch with the quant. So if anybody is looking for cracking things like CAT or GMAT or any other competitive exam, just stay in touch with those aptitude questions. It's okay to work for 2 years, but it's not a necessity to get into any B schools. So if you don't have any previous work experience before getting into B school, then generally it's known that you end up in some management roles, marketing or sales roles. Otherwise, if you have some experience in some tech company, then you'll get into product or program roles. So what I say is just stay in touch with Quant, and it doesn't matter whether you want to work and then study or not.
Okay, so the experience matters. Directly going from BTech to MBA, or should we have an experience that will, add up to, our resume or something like that? We will be given more preference if we are having experience, or we can directly go, the same. I wanted to ask, if we are directly going from BTech to MBA is different from having an experience and going to MBA.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, if you don't have any experience, generally you will be getting into marketing or sales roles, and there are certain companies that are very keen on taking freshers. But if you have some experience, generally which kind of companies come for biotechnology? It's either decision science or data analyst roles or some tech roles. So that is also good enough to get into product roles or consult roles or say program roles. So, but also there is some weightage given by a few colleges for work experience, but it doesn't affect much.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we have a question from Simran. Yeah, Simran, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, thank you both for the amazing talk. I think it was really interesting, and it's going to be very helpful for the current undergrads and others who are thinking of getting into the field. I have two questions. One is specifically for Rakesh because I love traveling. So, how is your experience in traveling? Roaming around different places. How do you like it?
So let me put it this way, right? So even when I travel, it's Monday, Friday, and most of the time I just spend in client location. So it's not like I go to Delhi and then see places around. And most of the times, given how consulting operates in India, we work only in India or maybe some parts of Southeast Asia. So our traveling is limited to that, apart from say some trainings and stuff. So whenever I go abroad for a training, then that's actually a good period, right? You kind of travel for free and then roam around the places. But other times it's actually painful. Taking a 6 a.m. flight on a Monday morning, you need to be up by 3, then go take the 6 a.m. flight, and then coming back on a Friday evening. It's kind of sounds fancy to start off, but it's actually painful at the end of the day. But one good thing, is you accumulate a lot of points, right? So which you can always utilize to do your personal travels at the end of the day. I mean, I must have done at least 4 foreign trips so far, almost for free, just on the points that I have accumulated on, on my credit card or on my Marriott account. So those are the perks that you get for the pain you take.
So that actually brings me to my second question. So you said that it's really painful. So what actually, both of you, like what motivation or purpose allows you to, get up, do the work, even if it's like really early in the morning or painfully hectic. So what's the thing that gets you going for both of you?
First, I would say the kind of work we do. I mean, although it's challenging, at the end of the day, it's satisfying that you are doing something challenging and something new every day. So that that gives a lot of kick, right? So that keeps us motivated, and obviously, the money you get paid at the end of the day is just the most important thing, I would say. So.
How about you, Sailusha?
Yeah, so like Rakesh pointed out, it's whatever you get paid for, and there's a lot of responsibility that is given on you, right? So you'll have to work and lead people, otherwise you are answerable. at the same time, whatever work you're doing, it's bringing a impact to the organization, say like company like Amazon, which many people look up to. So that is the kind of motivation that works upon me.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Yeah, and I have a question for Sairusha. Like, what was your experience at Novartis? Did it help you in your current profile? Like how it helped and how it came out to be?
Yeah. So generally after BTech, most of us end up getting into some tech roles, which is mostly operational. But luckily, I was working in a strategy kind of a role. I was designing incentive compensation for US field force. I was doing some matrix calculation and all. So that is where I was able to also learn some kind of logical reasoning and data interpretation for my CAT. I was working with business partners, which are like 4-5 levels above me. And that kind of helped me understand how the business perspective is like. And that is where my motivation again got reinforced. I also traveled to the US during that time, but it was not a very pressurizing one. I thoroughly enjoyed working with those senior leaders. So looking at those people and the way in which they were solving the problems, I thought I should also be able to do like that someday. And so even when I went for my trip, I was getting up in the morning at 4 a.m. and I was writing mock exams for CAT. And then I used to go to office, come back and revise what I have written in the morning. So that's how it was motivating for me. Novartis is a good company to work with.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that pretty much answered my question. So anyone else who wants to, interact with them, or any more questions from your side, guys? Or we can just wrap up. It was really, really amazing to hear you both, and practically, like, personally, I really learned a lot because I have some interest in management. So it was really amazing to hear both of you and your experiences. And thanks to you, and thanks to everyone to ask so many questions and pop out details from them. So thanks a lot, both of you. Thanks to everyone. So I'll hand over to Ashwin Bhaiya now.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thank
again.
you, everyone.
Thank you very much for the talks, actually. They were pretty good and very informative, I think, for all of us.